The last text from my ex that broke me. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. At 2:17 a.m., my ex sent the message that erased my denial. The phone lit my dark apartment like a police cruiser. I had been sorting old photos into a shoebox, telling myself I was ready to move on. I muted every thread with Jordan weeks ago, changed the lock code, even boxed the mug they left in my cabinet. Then the buzz, the preview line, and a sentence I can't unread. Thanks for covering the deposits again. He thinks it's comped. There was a screenshot attached, a payment to a private handle I didn't recognize, with my initials in the memo. I'm Riley, 30, an EMT who keeps other people's heartbeats on schedule. I like clocks that tell the truth, forms with legible dates, and jackets with pockets big enough for tape and gloves. Jordan taught me that some people draw circles instead. We met in a grocery aisle, fought over the last decent bouquet, and walked out sharing it. In public, Jordan tells stories like a magician: distract, delight, disappear the hard part. In private, the critiques came wrapped in jokes. You're so serious, Riley. Learn to take a bit. Or, you like receipts more than romance. The last week we were together, they said, loud enough for the dinner table, that I count tips like a landlord. Everyone laughed. I pretended it didn't sting. Tonight, the text wasn't for me. That's what hit first. The pronoun, he, wasn't mine. The thanks wasn't ours. And that screenshot, timestamped 3 minutes before, listed a vendor deposit to a handle that matched the venue Jordan wanted for a party I hadn't approved. I stared until the blue light made my eyes ache. I wanted to sleep, to delete, to be the person who ignores things. My job doesn't allow that, and neither did the part of me that still loved not being lied to. I tapped the image open, enlarged the details, and noticed the routing numbers were familiar. Too familiar. They matched a savings sub-account I'd opened last year to replace my dying car. The memo didn't say gift. It said refund. Refund to whom? Refund for what? My hands shook so hard I dropped the phone. I picked it up, took a photo of the photo, and texted my sister. Are you awake? She wrote back one word. Always. Now I needed evidence before the story started rewriting itself without me. Emma arrived in a hoodie and slippers, hair up, eyes clear the way only younger sisters manage at midnight. She slid onto the couch, scanned the screenshot. No wasted sympathy. Okay, she said, opening notes. We make a list: sender, handle, time, amount, routing, memo. Jordan's text wasn't meant for me, I said. They thanked me for covering deposits, but the memo says refund. Emma nodded. So someone prepaid using your money, and now someone else got it back. We airdropped the file to her phone. She zoomed on a tiny arrow I'd ignored. See that? She said. Payment originated from an iPad, not a phone. Jordan's iPad. The one I'd helped set up with my Apple ID when their screen cracked. I swallowed. I never deauthorized it. Emma's eyebrows climbed. Then your cloud is probably mirroring their outgoing receipts. She opened my laptop and walked me through settings I pretend not to know because emergencies rarely involve iCloud. Within minutes, notifications hit the desktop, app logins, two-factor prompts, a calendar invite labeled Vendor Consult 9:30. The invite attendees were Jordan and a contact called E. E as in? Emma asked. We don't know yet, I said, though my stomach already did. A year of memories shuffled in. Jokes at my expense, forgetting to pay utilities, insisting my card was the points card. Once I asked about a missing $40 and was told to relax. Money returns to generous people. Tonight, generosity had an invoice number. Emma tapped the metadata. Riley, the iPad used your home Wi-Fi at 1:13 a.m., then a cafe network called Doc7 at 1:44 a.m. Jordan told you they were asleep by 10, right? I nodded, throat tight. She looked at me, gentler now. I'm on your side, but you need receipts, not rage. I breathed, 4 in and 6 out, the way I coach panic patients. We exported the chat to a PDF. A preview tile flashed another image, a photo of a bar receipt I didn't recognize, timestamped last Friday. Next to the tip line, in Jordan's handwriting, was my last name. I stared until the letters lost meaning, then circled them in red. Emma whispered, That's not a joke, Ree. That's forgery. And in the corner, the bartender had a selfie with a familiar shoulder. Morning came mean and bright. I called in a personal day and brewed coffee strong enough to scrub a wound. Alone, I opened my bank app. There they were, 3 vendor deposit refunds in 6 weeks, each tied to the same handle, each memo containing my initials. I scrolled past a hotel hold I never placed, a flower order for a date I worked an 18-hour shift, and a rideshare I couldn't physically have taken while on the ambulance. For months I'd called these things glitches. Today they looked like a plan. I pulled the shoebox toward me. Ticket stubs, rent receipts, a birthday card with Jordan's looping heart. Inside the card was a folded ATM slip from Spring. $200 withdrawn at a bar 2 miles from Dock 7. Jordan didn't drink, not really. But they liked talking loudly where it echoed. I opened messages. The last thread before the breakup had gaps, missing bubbles I didn't delete. When I checked the settings, I found sync across devices. On. My stomach flipped. At the carrier store, a kid with a dragon tattoo listened without smirking. He pulled up my device access history and printed a simple list. iPhone, my laptop, and Jordan's iPad. It's still signed into your iCloud backups, he said. If you need proof of activity, request a data export. He showed me where to click, and I did, hands steady now that I had a button to push. By noon the cloud sent a link. I downloaded a zip the size of a brick. Inside, an SQLite chat archive blinked at me like a dare. I Googled a viewer, dragged the file in, and watched 1,000 lines of timestamps march like ants. Message attachments had names. One folder was called Doc 7. I clicked. Up popped photos of a smiling bartender, a sleeve I recognized, and Jordan's reflection in the Chrome tab, holding up 2 fingers. The biggest file was a screen recording, 7 minutes long, dated last Friday at 11:52 p.m. I hit play and watched Jordan scroll a thread with a contact named Elias. They typed, "He'll cover the deposits if I say it's refundable, promise." Elias replied, "LOL, keep the points rolling." Then Jordan attached a PDF and wrote, "Signing tomorrow. Don't worry about credit. I've got it handled." I paused and zoomed until the file name punched through, unmistakable. The PDF's title was pre-approval_sign. PDF. My mouth went dry. I replayed the recording. Jordan opening the document, checking boxes, and rehearsing my handwriting in the Notes app before switching back. Friday night, while I triaged a pileup on I-94, Jordan practiced my signature at a bar. That evening our station hosted a fundraiser. The chief thanked partners, named donors, made a joke about my spreadsheet romances. Laughter ricocheted. I smiled because it's easier than explaining how accuracy keeps ambulances fueled. Then I saw Jordan across the room, hair perfect, holding court. They raised a glass and said loud enough for surrounding tables, "Riley counts pennies like prayers. Lucky someone else can be generous." People laughed harder. The joke landed like a slap, trimmed as a kiss. I found fresh air behind the building. Emma texted, "Food truck? I can swing by." I typed back, "Later." My phone buzzed again. A push from the cloud export. New shared file detected. I opened it. The pre-approval form auto-filled with my employer, salary, and last 4 digits, details I'd never typed into Jordan's devices. Under applicant signature was my name, traced poorly, "The are too tall." In the comments field, "Fiancé will assume balance post-event." We had no event. I took photos of everything, printed to PDF, and ran the stack to a cheap office supply store with a dying neon sign. The clerk made me initial each page as "received by owner" and stapled it like a medical chart. My hands got steadier with every staple. Protocol again. On my way home, Doc 7's bartender texted from an unknown number. "Saw your name on a tab. You okay?" I answered with caution. "How did you get my number?" "Elias gave it to me," he wrote. "Said you'd want to know." "Know what?" I typed. 3 dots danced, stopped, and returned. "They're planning a destination thing," he wrote. "Your card is the backup." I stared at the screen, the world suddenly narrow as a straw. Back in my apartment, the iPad backup updated again, a fresh upload. Guest list _draft. XLSX, owner Jordan, editor Elias. I opened it and saw my name tagged, funding, beside unanswered RSVPs. By noon the story started rewriting itself, without me. A mutual posted a photo dump from the fundraiser, captioned, "Couple goals," tagging Jordan and a glittery crowd. In the comments, Jordan replied to someone asking where I'd been. Riley needed space. Money stresses make them controlling. Controlling. The word tripped a wire. I screenshotted everything and texted Marcus, my old classmate who treats spreadsheets like language and people like gentle puzzles. He came over with a laptop bag and a grocery store sandwich. "Eat," he said, scanning my PDFs. "Then we build a timeline you can hand to an adult in a tie." Emma snorted. "Translation, lawyer." Marcus nodded. "Or HR, or a bank fraud desk. You need a clean package." We taped printer paper to my wall and drew lines. Purchases, logins, sightings, texts. Marcus marked anything verifiable in green, anything claimed in yellow. "This stays in evidence, voice," he said. "No adjectives. Just who, what, when, where, confirmed by whom." He circled the screen recording. "This alone is huge. Shows Jordan rehearsing your signature before opening a pre-approval under your details." Emma opened her phone. "Riley, you should freeze your credit now." She walked me through it. Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. Clicks, codes, confirmation numbers. Marcus added them to the binder. Credit freeze initiated, confirmation IDs. Neat, as a nurse's chart. We cross-checked bank entries with shift logs. On the night of the hotel hold, my GPS showed an ambulance bay and a trauma pager at 2137. Marcus underlined the alibi. "They can't claim you were at the check-in desk and on a backboard at once." He examined the bartender text and asked permission to call. I listened to his calm voice. "I'm documenting, not threatening. Did you see a signature?" The bartender said yes, and he saved the voicemail to files. By late afternoon, the wall looked like a weather map, the pressure system of a line moving east. My phone buzzed, a new post. Jordan again, this time subtweeting. "Some folks hoard proof because they don't have trust." I laughed sharp. "Proof is what trust looks like when it's been starved," Emma said. Marcus's phone chimed. He read the screen, then looked at me. "Did you just get an alert from new line of credit, pending?" A fraud notification pinged my email, subject line clear as sirens. "Your pre-approval will finalize within 24 hours unless canceled." We canceled within 4 minutes. The fraud desk rep spoke in a voice like carpet, soft, frictionless, adept at absorbing panic. She read back data points, employer, salary, the last 4 digits that stalked every document. "We'll block this application and mark the signature as disputed," she said. "You should file an identity theft report and a police non-emergency incident for the record." Marcus mouthed, "Paper trail," and added 2 new boxes to the binder. While I waited for confirmation emails, Emma dug through Jordan's screenshots again. She tapped an icon I'd dismissed. "This isn't a bank," she said. "It's a Cash App." The handle matched the vendor refund account, but the legal name on the profile, visible in a tiny help pop-up, read Elias M. We had our E. Marcus searched public records. Doc 7 bartender's tag shows he works events with Elias, he said. Freelance coordinator. He posts guest list selfies like trophies. He pulled up a grid of faces, one with Jordan's reflection in a silver bucket. Timestamp lines up with your cloud logs. My phone vibrated again, this time a message from the venue. Friendly reminder. Auto-charge tonight at 12 a.m. for remaining balance. We have the backup card on file. I called immediately. What card? The coordinator cheerfully read the last 4 digits of my debit. No, I said, as evenly as I could. That card is not authorized. Remove it. She hesitated. Jordan said. I cut her off. I'm the account holder. Remove it now. She put me on hold long enough to grow a gray hair, then returned. Done. Please send an email confirming this revocation. Marcus typed while I spoke, copying the coordinator's name, time, and language into a contemporaneous note. Emma color-coded it green, documented. I forwarded the email to myself and printed a PDF. That thunk of paper hitting the tray soothed something ancient in me. We weren't done. A delivery notification pinged from the building lobby. Signature required for a package in my name. The concierge texted a photo of the signature they'd captured on a tablet. The air was too tall. Jordan's been here today, I said quietly. They signed for it. Emma grabbed her keys. Let's go downstairs together. We rode the elevator in a square of brittle silence. The package was from Sunset Travel Finance. I sliced it open with my work trauma shears. Inside, a glossy brochure, and a payment schedule with my name pre-printed. At the bottom, first automatic draw scheduled tonight at midnight. The brochure chimed merrily about paradise while my stomach sank. At midnight, the venue would auto-charge my card for everything. We spent the next 2 hours turning panic into paragraphs. I emailed the venue revocation to their billing address, CCing a manager and my own inbox. Marcus uploaded the concierge's signature photo and annotated it. Signature capture differs from legal signature. See exemplars. Emma, who does crafts like she does triage, decisively labeled a folder's signatures, authentic versus suspected. We added copies of my driver's license signature and a recent HR form. Side by side, the difference screamed. At 6:40 p.m. Doc 7's bartender met us out front in his smoke break sweater, kindness in his eyes. "I'm sorry," he said. "I thought they were planning a party with friends. Didn't know they were using your name." He handed over a printed receipt and a still from the security camera with a manager's stamp. The image showed Jordan lifting the bar tablet so Elias could see the signature block. The timestamp matched my cloud log, 11:58 p.m. Friday. We recorded his name and number and had him leave a quick voice memo. Who? What? When? Back home, I called my bank's fraud unit. A woman named Patrice listened like a pastor. "We'll replace your card, reverse anything tied to forged authorization, and flag the merchant account so nothing slips through," she said. "Please also put a verbal password on the account." She waited while I chose one I wouldn't forget and others couldn't guess. "Breathe," Patrice said. I didn't realize I'd been holding mine. Emma asked if I wanted dinner. I shook my head, adrenaline feeding me. Marcus cross-referenced the calendar invite labeled Vendor Consult 9:30 with a rideshare receipt from that morning. Driver drop-off, Sunset Events Office. He drew a neat arrow, claim versus location. Green, yellow. Documented, alleged. My phone lit with a new unknown number. A voice I recognized as the venue manager said, "Just confirming. Backup card removed. No charges at midnight." Relief made me sloppy. I thanked him too many times and hung up before he could ask questions I didn't want to answer. We pinned the security still to the wall. Jordan's reflection in the chrome tap looked like someone I used to dream about. The bartender's shoulder, Elias's grin, the bar light like a halo. I sat down on the floor, back against the couch. What if I'd ignored the text? I said. What if I told myself to be generous? Emma sat beside me. Then we'd be cleaning up midnight, she said. Instead, we're preventing it. Marcus looked from the wall to me. We have enough to confront, he said. But you only do it when you're ready and you're not alone. Before I could answer, a new calendar invite landed in my inbox titled Mediation, Communication Guidelines, Organizer, Jordan. The invite description was syrupy and strategic. For closure and clarity, let's meet with a neutral so we can both move forward. Attached, a PDF titled Draft Statement, written like a press release about a mutual parting due to differences, with bullet points about my financial anxiety and control issues. Emma's jaw clenched. They're building a smear kit, she said. Marcus highlighted phrases and wrote, preemptive narrative. I forwarded the invite to Lawyer Patel, friend of a friend who'd once given me pro bono advice about a landlord, and typed, not asking you to represent, just need a sanity check. To my shock, he replied in 15 minutes. Documented evidence narratives. Do not attend mediation without counsel or a witness. Move communications to email. Acknowledge receipt. Propose written exchange. As if on cue, Jordan texted, Can we talk at Dock 7? Neutral ground. I stared at the bubbles bloom and pop. My hands wanted to type yes, to go perform reasonableness in public. Marcus shook his head. Written only. You have enough to prove forgery, attempted fraud, and misuse. Don't give them live ammo. I typed, please email. I'll respond there. Jordan replied with a heart, and then, you always preferred paperwork to feelings. Emma rolled her eyes. Translation, he can't spin you if you're quoting timestamps. My phone buzzed again. This time, an unblocked screen recording, sent by mistake or hubris. Jordan and Elias scrolling my guest list _draft. XLSX, laughing as they moved my name into a column labeled Funding, with Elias saying, If he balks, we have the controlling angle ready. I didn't breathe for a full count of 8. Marcus saved the file, labeled it, and added a note. Participants identify intent to frame narrative for leverage. The mini twist landed without soap opera music. It was just two people in blue light turning me into a plot device. I sat very still, thinking about every joke I'd swallowed and every receipt I'd let slide for peace. Jordan texted again, "Don't be dramatic, Riley. If you go public, I'll have to tell your chief you've been borrowing supplies for personal use." I stared. Supplies? The only thing I take home are paperbacks and bruises. Emma's voice was calm steel. "That's a threat. Save it. Don't respond." Marcus nodded. "They're trying to scare you into silence, so the midnight charges slide and the narrative sets." He closed the binder and looked at me. "We're past red flags. This is the scheme. Affair with Elias, financial manipulation with your data, pre-approval in your name, and a smear plan to keep you quiet." Outside, the sky rolled from metal to ink. I stood, felt the floor under my feet, and opened a new email thread addressed to Jordan, BCC to myself, Lawyer Patel, and a fresh Gmail I created for evidence. From now on, I typed, "Please keep all communications in writing. I will respond via email only." A new vibration skittered across the table. Jordan, again, with one line that felt like a final test of my. The line read, "If you destroy my future, I'll make sure you regret it." Not an apology, not remorse. A threat. Timestamped, 10:42 p.m. Emma took a photo of my phone from 3 angles, then emailed it to herself and Marcus with subject line "Threat, Preserve." Patel's reply landed seconds later. "This qualifies as coercion. Do not delete. Forward copy to your HR/legal if employment threatened." I lay back against the couch, staring at the ceiling. "It feels like quicksand," I said. Marcus pulled a printout from the binder, the fraud desk confirmation number for the blocked credit app. "This is rock," he said, tapping it. "Quicksand doesn't win against rock." Emma scrolled through her phone. "Jordan's already posting," she said, reading aloud. "Some people can't handle partnership. They twist everything into paperwork." She snorted. "Good. Every tweet nails their tone for anyone who'll have to weigh credibility." My hands shook as I forwarded Jordan's midnight threat to Patel. His response was brisk. Recommendation: arrange documented sit-down with witness. Do not engage unilaterally. Propose neutral site, mediator, or conference room. Present evidence sequentially. Marcus drew a new flowchart on a yellow pad. 1. Secure all financial accounts tonight. 2. Freeze utilities logins. Change passwords. 3. Draft bullet summary of evidence. 1 page. No editorializing. 4. Schedule mediated session. Emma asked softly, "Do you want to tell Mom before this blows?" I shook my head. She'd just say I'm overreacting. She always does. Ruth, our mother, loved appearances like oxygen. She'd choose image over evidence every time. At 11:59 p.m., my inbox pinged. Cancellation confirmed from the venue. No charges went through. I exhaled, almost laughing with relief. Midnight came and went. I said, "They didn't get me." Marcus smiled. "Because you had receipts, not feelings." The reprieve lasted all of 5 minutes. At 12:04 a.m., another notification hit my phone. Jordan had scheduled a new venue consultation for tomorrow at 9 a.m. under my name. By dawn, the apartment looked like a war room. Binder on the table, wall covered in evidence, laptop screens glowing. Emma brewed coffee so strong it could sterilize wounds. "They won't stop until you pin this down in daylight," she said. Marcus agreed. "It's time to set the trap." Patel suggested a neutral witness, a mediator, or even his paralegal, someone calm who could log the meeting. I emailed Jordan. "I'll attend a discussion tomorrow morning if a neutral third party is present. Written agenda, documented only." Minutes later, the 3 dots blinked, then disappeared. No reply. Instead, a group text to mutual friends appeared on my phone. Jordan had written, "Riley spiraling, making fake docs, accusing me of fraud. Please ignore." My throat closed. Marcus patted the binder. "This isn't fake. This is time-stamped logs, signed receipts, carrier confirmations. People can say whatever they want. Paper wins." Emma pulled me aside. "Are you scared?" she asked. I didn't answer right away. I thought of the way Jordan's charm had once made me feel safe, how that charm was now turned outward like a blade. "Finally," I said, "I'm not scared of losing them. I'm scared of being painted as crazy." Emma touched my shoulder. That's why you don't stand alone in this reveal. We drafted the summary. 1 page, bullet points, all green documented items only. No feelings. No adjectives. Just date, source, confirmation. Marcus stapled it and tucked it into the front pocket of the binder. At 8:30 a.m., Patel's paralegal called. Conference room ready. I'll log evidence as it's presented. I texted Jordan the address. Seconds later, a message pinged. Fine. Don't embarrass yourself. We left the apartment carrying the binder like armor. I drove in silence, Emma beside me, Marcus following in his car. The city looked unchanged. Early commuters, bakery smells, buses groaning. But every billboard screamed betrayal to me. At 9 a.m. sharp, we walked into the glass-walled conference room. Jordan was already there, Elias in the corner, both in pressed clothes, smug smiles plastered on. Jordan tapped their phone. Finally, they said, ready to hear the truth? I set the binder on the table and looked them in the eye. I brought mine. And at that exact moment, Patel's paralegal pressed record on the digital log. The air in the conference room was tight, like the oxygen had thinned. Jordan leaned back in their chair, one ankle crossed over the other, projecting smug control. You've dragged me here, Riley. Let's clear this up quickly. You're making yourself look unhinged. I opened the binder to the first page. March 12th, I said evenly. Application for a joint credit card. Confirmation number here. Approved at 3:17 p.m. My signature is forged. Carrier log confirms my phone wasn't even active that day. Jordan's jaw flexed, but they laughed. So now you're accusing me of forgery? Do you realize how desperate that sounds? Patel's paralegal interrupted, monotone. Document logged. Confirmation verified with issuing bank. Emma slid a second sheet forward. April 28th. Delivery receipt for electronics. Signed R. Lewis. Except Riley was with me that day at work, time-stamped on their employer's system. Jordan's veneer cracked slightly. Maybe the store clerk made a mistake. Marcus leaned forward. 4 mistakes, across 3 different states? Convenient clerks. For every denial, another page landed. May 10th. Cash transfer through a hidden account. June 2nd. Hotel booking in Jordan's name. Charged to Riley's card. July 14th. Cloud backup pulled from a synced device. Messages to someone saved as honey. Screenshots printed, times circled in red. Jordan's hands tightened around their phone. These are out of context. Anyone can fake screenshots. Patel's paralegal. Metadata verified from carrier export. Not falsified. Silence filled the room. I kept my voice steady. Last night you threatened me at 10:42 p.m. If you destroy my future, I'll make sure you regret it. We preserved it, and your post at 10:51 on Twitter confirms your device and timeline. Jordan's smirk finally faltered. This is ridiculous. You can't win against me socially. Everyone already believes my version. I leaned closer. Paper wins. Every time. The paralegal stamped the last page. Emma whispered, "We've got them." Jordan sat motionless, face pale, lips trembling. But then their phone buzzed again, and a sinister smile returned. Because the notification lighting up the screen wasn't mine. It was from someone else in the room. The notification tone was unmistakable. Marcus's phone buzzed simultaneously. He glanced down, then froze. "Oh no," he whispered. On Jordan's screen, a preview of the message glowed. "We'll back you up. Just say Riley's unstable." The sender? A mutual friend we'd both known for years. One Jordan had clearly pulled into their smear campaign. Marcus read his own phone. He'd been forwarded the exact same message from another friend. The coordination was undeniable. Jordan pounced, eyes glittering. "See? Even your friends know you're unraveling. I don't have to say a word." I stared at them. "You orchestrated this. You roped them into lying for you." "They volunteered," Jordan said smoothly. "No one wants to watch you burn everything down. They see the truth." Emma slammed her palm on the table. "No, they see the show you're staging. And we just caught you scripting it." Patel's paralegal logged the screenshot from Marcus's phone, comparing timestamps. Messages sent from Jordan's device group chat, confirmed carrier ID, coordinated smear documented. Jordan's composure fractured further. Their breathing quickened, voice rising. "You think any of this matters? In public, perception is reality. Riley's the obsessive one. Riley's the paranoid one. Riley's the one with a binder, for God's sake. I exhaled slowly. No, Jordan. I'm the one with proof. The paralegal stacked the stamped pages into a neat pile. Session concluded. Evidence sufficient for legal review. Recommended escalation. Fraud affidavit. Restraining order consideration. Jordan stood abruptly, chair scraping. You'll regret this. You have no idea what I'm capable of. I felt my pulse pound, but held steady. I know exactly what you're capable of. And now so does everyone else. For a long second, Jordan stared, trembling with rage. Then they stormed out, slamming the glass door so hard the walls rattled. But as the silence settled, my phone lit up with a new notification. It wasn't from Jordan. It was from my bank, and it showed another attempted charge. The room was still vibrating from the force of Jordan's exit when I glanced at my phone. My stomach dropped. A $2,800 charge attempt, on a card I had frozen 2 weeks ago. The timestamp? Just seconds before Jordan stormed out. Emma leaned over my shoulder. You see that? They're desperate. They're trying to drain whatever's left. Patel's paralegal nodded grimly. Classic behavior when cornered. They'll keep pushing until someone else stops them. Marcus grabbed his laptop bag. Let's call the fraud line right now. We'll document the attempted charge live. On speaker, the bank rep confirmed. Yes, a purchase was attempted at 11:06 a.m. today. The card was declined because of your fraud alert. It came from a device registered under Jordan Lewis. There it was, undeniable, time-stamped, and tied directly to Jordan's name. I thanked the rep, and when the call ended, the room was heavy with both relief and grief. My throat tightened. How did I ever let it get this far? I let them take everything, one piece at a time. Emma touched my hand. No, you gave them trust. That's not a crime. What they did with it is. Marcus added softly, and now you're taking it back. For the first time in weeks, I felt something stir, a fragile strand of power returning. Patel gathered the binder and slid it into a case. With this evidence, you have a strong case for both fraud and harassment. I'll draft the affidavits today. I nodded slowly. Then it ends here. Today. But deep down, I knew Jordan wasn't done. Their pride wouldn't let them walk away quietly. That suspicion was confirmed a few hours later, when my phone buzzed again. This time with a new text from an unknown number. It read, "If you think you've won, just wait until tomorrow." I stared at the message, while rising in my throat. Emma snatched the phone. Blocked number. Cowardly. But it's them. Has to be. Marcus frowned. Or someone they've recruited to do their dirty work. I forwarded the text to Patel immediately. His reply came within minutes. Preserve. Don't reply. This strengthens the harassment claim. We'll add it. Still, fear not at me. What was coming tomorrow? Another smear online? A staged scene to make me look unstable? Jordan had always thrived on chaos, on turning shadows into weapons. That night, I barely slept. My apartment felt like a fortress under siege, every buzz of my phone a threat. Emma stayed on the couch with me, Marcus texting updates from his place across town. By morning, the storm hit. Jordan had blasted a long post across social media, painting me as the manipulative one. Screenshots twisted out of context, old arguments edited to frame me, even vague witnesses backing their version. The comments piled fast, sympathy for them, skepticism toward me. My chest ached as I scrolled. They're destroying me, I whispered. Emma grabbed the phone. Stop reading. You have receipts they can't erase. Marcus called minutes later. We go public with the truth. Controlled, precise, with Patel's guidance. No emotional rants, just proof. It was terrifying, but he was right. We scheduled a formal filing with Patel at noon, followed by a carefully worded statement attaching documented evidence. As I watched Patel draft the language, calm and methodical, something inside me shifted. Jordan could twist the narrative in the court of public opinion, but in the court of law, their lies would collapse. Yet, just as Patel sealed the binder for the final time, my phone buzzed again. This time with a message not from Jordan, but from someone I never expected. It was from Mark, Jordan's new partner, and the text read, "We need to talk. I know what they've done." I froze, staring at the screen as the words blurred. Mark, Jordan's new partner, was reaching out to me. My pulse thudded in my ears. Why would they contact me? Emma leaned over. Read it out loud. I swallowed hard. We need to talk. I know what they've done. Marcus frowned. That's either a setup or the final piece of your case. I typed a cautious reply. I can only meet if it's through Patel's office. Neutral ground. Minutes later, Mark agreed. When we met, Mark's face was pale, drawn. They slid a folder across the table. I thought I was special. Turns out, they used the same tactics on me. Credit in my name, lies to my friends. I couldn't stay silent anymore. Inside were screenshots, statements, even audio recordings Jordan had carelessly left synced to a shared device. The evidence mirrored everything I had already uncovered. Only now it showed a pattern stretching across years, with multiple victims. Patel exhaled, his voice flat but steady. This will seal it. We'll move forward with fraud, harassment, and identity abuse filings. I sat back, trembling, the weight of weeks pressing down. Emma squeezed my shoulder. You're not broken, Riley. They are. You just survived them. Marcus added, and now you've exposed them. For the first time in months, I felt oxygen in my lungs again. The last text Jordan had sent, the one meant to break me, had instead lit the fuse that finally ended their hold over my life. I closed my eyes and pictured a future no longer tethered to manipulation. One built on truth, dignity, and the quiet strength of boundaries that couldn't be crossed again. When I opened them, I smiled faintly at my team of allies. It's over, I whispered. But deep down, I knew that ending was also a beginning, and one I was finally ready for. And that's when my phone buzzed one last time with a message that would change everything yet again.